Well, guys, welcome to the first episode of, I don't know what we're going to call this, uncut, unscripted hunting stories with Wayne Dell. For those of you who don't know, I'm Wayne Dell, the owner of African Brother Safari. I have been an avid hunter since I was probably 10 years, between 8 and 10 years old. I remember shooting my first springbuck with my old man at the young age of 9. Grew up in a really good farm background, hunting family. We grew up on a farm and unfortunately had to move into town, but that didn't stop us from hunting. I have a identical twin brother who is an avid hunter like myself, and we get out in the bush as much as possible to hunt different areas of the Eastern Cape. And yeah, I just wanted to share a couple of stories with you guys on where I started and where I am now in my hunting career. Things change throughout the years, and you know your goals, and you keep moving the goalpost to achieve more as you get on with it. And yeah, like I mentioned previously, I shot my first springbuck with my father. Him being an avid hunter, he used to run a hunting pack, hunting hounds with his cousin, and that's where we got our love of hunting in the bush, chasing bush pig with the hounds. And he's an avid bush pig hunter. He used to hunt every weekend, and then it became every second weekend when us kids came along. And then when we got old enough, we decided to go with him and experience it. And yeah, from there it's just a hunting career that's grown over the decades. And I started out with my brother. We had air rifles, slingshots. We were told and taught that if you hunted it, you shot it, you killed it, you ate it. So we grew up with eating a lot of strange things as kids growing up. We learned what not to shoot and what to shoot, which tasted good, and everything that we harvest goes into our freezer and so on. And that's how our life progressed over the years. And we grew up with this whole outdoors provides for the table. My dad would hunt bush pig, and he'd hunt kudu through hunting season and hunt bushbuck, and we would eat biltong and what you guys, similar to your guys, jerky, but it's air dried. And yeah, so it has just been an awesome experience growing up with the hunting family that I've grown up in, and being able to experience all these different milestones going forward in my career with my father and my brother. And yeah, one of my fondest stories is going out and hunting my first springbuck on my grandfather's property, where my dad grew up hunting his first springbuck, his first kudu, and doing a lot of the same firsts on that property with us. So I think it was a young age of 9, I think, and we headed out, and my dad took us into the area where the springbuck liked. I remember being a little bit nervous. I was the one who's going to shoot first. My sister came with. I've got an older sister. She's no hunter, but just enjoyed getting out on the farm. And I'll never forget, we borrowed my grandfather's old Isuzu pickup, and we headed out into the bush. My dad was trying to figure out how to set up nicely for us to shoot, because the springbuck were quite wild, and we weren't walking and stalking. He took us out. It's like your first thing off the back of the pickup. And we had this is time before professional hunting became so serious throughout the Eastern Cape, and built on it, there was no binoculars, no shooting sticks, no hunting rack. You're literally just on the back of a pickup with the cattle rail around you and driving around. If I'm not mistaken, my mother was actually driving the pickup with us, if I'm not mistaken. And my dad was on the back with me, and he brought along a 20-liter paint tin that he stuck on the back of the truck, which was the right height for me to sit on and use the cattle rails as a rest to shoot my first springbuck. But prior to this, our practice building up to hunting our first springbok was a 22 and a box of ammo, and we had these cliffs on our property that we had to practice shooting with the 22 to shoot what we call dussies in South Africa. They are, the actual name for it is a hyrax. So we go out and hunt these dussies on these cliffs, and we learned with the 22, if you shot a shoulder shot on the animal or vital shot on the animal, they used to run off and die in their holes, and you couldn't retrieve them to eat them. So we started doing headshots, thinking we were snipers, and headshot, and we got quite accurate with the 22. So my dad was like, okay, you guys are ready to go to the next level, and off we went on the springbok hunt. So we're on the back of the truck. My dad selects out a big old female out of the herd, and I was standing broadside, and he got me all set up, and he's brought his trusty 222 Sacco with. It had an old ass Weaver scope on it, guys. I can't even tell you, but it was absolutely deadly. You aimed on an eyeball, it was pinpoint perfect in the right hands. Let's put it there. And that little 222 was lethal. So I'm sitting on the back of the truck, and Dad's pointed out the springbok, and he says, shoot that one on the left, far left. You can, when you're ready, take your time, shoot it. I'm guessing the shot was around 200, maybe closer. Yeah, when you're little, back in the day, things are extremely far. Your distance from one area to the other, it's 100 meters, but to you as a kid, it feels like 500-600 meters. It feels like a lifetime trying to get there. And I got all set up on this thing, and I aimed for the springbok's head. My dad didn't tell me to shoot it on the shoulder, slightly back, to take out the lung and the heart. It was like, aim at the springbok and you can shoot the springbok. With this, I let the shot fly. Boom! And springbok spins around and flick flacks, and I'm like, my dad goes, where were you aiming? I said, I tried to shoot it in the head. Being a 9-year-old kid, wasn't quick enough to reload. I'd made a terrible shot. I'd shot the springbok's jaw, unfortunately, and we managed to follow it up, and my dad got me set up again, and I put another shot on it, and then my dad helped me finish it off so the animal didn't suffer. And this is a big learning experience as a kid growing up. I was 9 years old. I'd made a poor shot. I was slightly rattled. My second shot wasn't great. My dad was there to support me and get me through my first springbok experience, and he finished it off for me. Unfortunately, my sister was there, who is not a hunter, and was so upset that not that I'd shot the springbok, but that I'd injured the springbok. But luckily, with my dad being there and a hunter explaining how hunting is, nothing's perfect, nothing's scripted. It happens how it happens as the stages go along. So I got my springbok, super proud, big female. We took a couple of pictures, loaded it up on the pickup, and I had to take my springbok to go and show my grandfather that I had achieved my first hunting goal of shooting my first springbok. And with all of this, we went to the house, we took pictures at the house. I say, I'll never forget it. It's a once in a lifetime experience. And my grandfather's there, he shook my hand. My grand came out. It's all family occasion, and this is where hunting, people take look down on hunting, and so there's a lot more to hunting than just going out there and squeezing the trigger and shooting an animal and killing stuff. There's a whole family ethics behind it. You grow up in this lifestyle, and you just build on it as you go along, and you've got all these important role models there with you as your stages go on in life with the hunting. It's like with any business or anything like that, there are role models that you follow, and my grandfather being a good hunter, and my dad being a good hunter, and you're kind of following in their footsteps as you head along. And I'll never forget it. One of the best experiences of my life, shooting my first springbok at 9 years of age. So what they do traditionally in South Africa, a lot of guys, you'll see it on social media and stuff like that, when we have international clients come out and they shoot their first, kudu. Every area and province throughout the world is throughout South Africa is different. So, some places they will war paint you with blood for every first. Other places it's for your first male. Other places it's your first buck or species or whatever you hunt. With my dad's family tradition, it was always your first male animal that you hunted, and preferably it would have been your first kudu. So I'd shot my first springbok, but it was a female, so I never got my war paint for that. But when I got a bit older and I managed to shoot my first kudu, that is where I got my war paint and everything like that. So that's another story for another episode as we go along. But this, guys, is just for you to get to know who I am, what Wayne Dell's all about, what African Brother Safaris from the start to the finish. And I think with each episode as we go along doing this, I'll pick a different venue, a different area. It's unscripted. I'm just going to have a conversation with you guys, show you a little bit and lead you into a little bit of my life and my lifestyle of hunting, and where I started to where I've become an outfitter hunting dangerous game so many years later. And to me, it's big goals and dreams that, running a really good business, making the contacts, making new friends, and just sharing what South Africa has for everyone out there in the world. Guys, hunting SA is not for, like the wealthiest of wealthies. You can find outfitters out there who will give you great quality deals at great prices. Get in contact with them. There's so many of us throughout the Eastern Cape. Do your homework. That's all I'll say. Do your homework. Get to talk to the guy on the phone. Find out his references. The big companies are out there for those who want the fancies and the 5-star lodges and everything like that. Us, we are all about the hunt and the experience. And if you're looking for a true South African hunt of, our accommodation is rough and rustic. There's nothing fancy about it, but you can find us on our social media pages and platforms. We're out there on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. This is going to be uploaded on YouTube as a series, and every 2 weeks I will load another video for you guys to find out more about myself and my company, where we started and to where we are now. Till later, guys. Cheers.